Yo, what the fuck is up, guys? Welcome to episode 2. Yo, what the fuck is up, fools? Welcome to episode 2 of the Rantz by Neenz Podcast. Hosted by your least favorite Cajun, Tejana, lesbian, journalist troll, and let's just throw satirist in there for good measure, Neenz. Now available on video. There you go, mofos. There you go. Today, we're going to be talking about my latest rant, Bill Bunch's Barton Springs Bridge blowout, which is a mouthful. I can't believe I said that without messing up. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the April 24th Austin City Council meeting, plus my opinion on Mayor Kirk Watson's authoritarian takeover of Austin. We're also going to be talking about my midterm report card, which is coming out July 1st and July 2nd for my paid subscribers. Here's a heads up. Y'all are going to get a little bit extra something to show my appreciation. Then we're going to switch it up, lighten things up a little bit. My thoughts on Wreslemania 41, plus a short review of my new favorite movie, Sinners. Go check that mofo out. In fact, I will let you pause this and go watch Sinners and then come back and listen to the rest of this, because there will be spoilers. God, I'm not fucking around, because that's a movie. Okay. Let's go into segment 1, which is my latest rant, which came out on Friday. If you did not get that to your email, that's because what? You are not signed up to my email list. www.rantzbyneenz.com. rantzbyneenz.com. Go there. Sign up with your email, first and last name. That's all you got to do. If you're a coward and you got to be on a burner, that's fine. I don't even care at this point. I will take what I can get. So, basically, if you're lucky enough to not know Bill, he is the executive director of the Save Our Springs Alliance. He is at every city council meeting, and he is just lately sprouting even more and more nonsense. I don't know how to really explain it other than what I already did in like 1,500 words. But basically, this is the man that's been greenwashing exclusionary zoning in our city for the past 30 years. What does that mean? Basically, segregation, right? The way that the West Side is protected from development, a lot of that is Bill's doing, and it just makes it, of course, it does preserve the West Side, in my opinion, at the expense of the East Side, but I'll save that topic for a later day, that argument for a later date. But not only does it preserve the environment at the expense of one half of the city, but it also makes development in the West Side very difficult. So what is the result of that? Less people can live in those inside the urban, what you would consider the city's urban core. And so if only a certain amount of people, if only a certain amount of people can buy land inside the city center, then that means it's going to be more expensive, and only the affluent can live there, and the result is only rich white people who bought their homes in the 70s and 80s can live there or perpetuate their wealth by selling, and then they can sell it to another affluent person who could very well be a person of color. But if you replace every white person in West Austin with one at a time, even if they were every single person who bought a new home in Hyde Park was a wealthy person of color, number one, we'd still have a socioeconomically segregated city, which I would argue is extremely bad for society. But if you don't want to hear me on that, it would also take a long time for the city to look like. I mean, and just look around. Okay, go walk around downtown Austin, and then go walk around downtown Houston, and there's a reason that, and it's not because black and brown people just hate living in Central Texas. There is a reason, and it is, a lot of it has to do with, there's a lot of reasons, but a lot of it does have to do with zoning. So anyway, I just basically tried to explain how absurd Bill's behavior has been lately by using the frame of his last like couple of ridiculous arguments. One being the dying tree in at Barton Springs, which he considers his personal pool. I think there was a dying tree there. It had a disease. I can go into the arborist report if y'all really want to, but suffice it to say the tree was dying. Bill decided that it wasn't dying and that it was a hate crime to remove it. And it's like, I just love that example because I just feel like there's no way, but a lot of people really weren't paying attention to it. But it's just like, there's really not a whole lot of other ways to understand it other than he was trying to selfishly preserve a dead tree that was, I think, blocking the disability access to the pool. And number two, could have fallen and harmed someone. And before you say, oh, that is like a ridiculous... No, the accidents happen on city property, and you'll see it during the meetings when the council members have to rubber stamp a settlement from the legal department with whatever person so that the problem goes away and that it doesn't ultimately become a huge liability for the city. So to act like, oh, it's just ridiculous to think a person could be injured by a dangerous tree that is dying and that the city expert said was dying, there's no way to misunderstand that. But when it's like Zilker vision plan and he can kind of like hide his, I want to be careful with my words here, he can hide his lunacy. Just kidding, motherfuckers. When he can hide his lunacy with like, ooh, the Ticketmaster, which fuck Ticketmaster too. Fuck him. Fuck Ticketmaster. Fuck Live Nation. Yeah. But so very convenient that he can use them for a boogeyman and kind of muddy the waters. And so that's why I've tried to like, okay, he's doing the same thing as the tree. That same gimmick is what he's doing with is what he did with the Zilker Vision plan, and now is what he was doing to preserve this decaying bridge on Barton Springs Road that I personally believe, if you just use your context clues, he was hoping that the city would not fix, so that eventually the transportation department would have to set limits on the amount of traffic, and in particular the type of traffic that can safely go over the bridge. So like, number one, what's the heaviest thing that you can, buses, 18-wheelers, what does Bill famously not want coming in and out of his neighborhood? Buses, 18. So, and then, of course, if that would present a lot of logistical problems for ACL Fest. And so what would then the city council be forced to consider, which is not even on the table right now, moving ACL Fest out of Zilker Park. And there's not that many facilities that it could go to. So presumably it would go to Circuit of the Americas out in East Austin, where I would just like to remind everybody, not that Bill gives a shit, but I would just like to remind everybody that's where like our last like working class Hispanic community and immigrant community, Latino community can be is able to afford to live. So you're selfish, Bill. I hope you're listening. You're selfish motherfucker. Let me just take a second to address you specifically, Bill, because I hope somebody sends this to you. I don't get tired. I'm a lot like you. I'm always think I'm right, and I never get tired. So just keep that in mind, buddy. I'm gonna call you on this bullshit every week. I'm not gonna get tired like other people. I'm not gonna get a promotion. You're not gonna buy me off. I'm not gonna get tired. I'm gonna be a thorn in your side with the truth, a thorn of truth in your side until you give up, sir. You're going to stop toxic polluting with my city with toxic waste. I swear to God. And until you do, I'm gonna call you on it every single time. You're not gonna do your little Trumpy bullshit with me where you just where you're just a toddler and I just look away. No, sir. You might think this bitch is first of all destined for greatness. You'd be right. You probably think this little bitch is gonna get a job. First of all, I've had a job for the past year. Okay, and I was making good money, but I still have time to watch you bullshit, lie, abuse city council. That's my job, bitch. I'm taking that mantle, and your time is done. Anyway, enough with that bitch, cause he don't deserve my attention. But I'm just gonna say, Bill keeps polluting the well of Austin politics, and it's driving people away. And I'm not one of them, but I am tired of seeing good people just get absolutely beat down by the tactics of this man. It needs to end. And the era of impunity is over. And that starts with me. Because the rest of this city's media, sorry, excuse for media members, do not call. They never call him on his BS. They ignore it when he lies. And then anytime they need a quote from somebody, from an Austin environmentalist, they prop him up like he knows what he's doing, knowing how dishonest he is and how much he bends whatever he can to try to get his way in a city of 1 million people. It's wrong, and more people should say that. Alberta Phillips, where are you? Oh, wait. Yeah, and that's why that's unethical. Austin Free Press is a fucking fraud. That's bullshit. How are you supposed to cover this city fairly and you can't even cover the man that fucking lies all the fucking time to get his way? Anybody who participates in the Austin Free Press is a fucking scammer and a piece of shit. And you can take that to the fucking bank and come at me, motherfuckers, because I'm watching you. And I'm documenting everything, and everything is screenshotted, and ain't nothing getting past me. And I would do an expose, except my audience is too large, and I'm not linking to y'all ever. I might have to cut that out, because I'm not giving those motherfuckers any free press. Anyway, segment 2. And I don't even know how far I've gone. Shoot. Went way over. That man pisses me off. Anyway. Segment 2. Austin City Council meeting, April 24. What a joke. Artificial intelligence resolution. Tiny little LDC tweak. If you don't know what that stands for, don't worry about it. And as I said, as I said in my rant, cashing a $32 million check from the federal government to finish the Barton Springs road project. Just ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, and speaking of Bill, this meeting, I've suspected this for a long time. It was going in this direction, but newly elected District 10 council member Mark Duchin. Everybody says his name a little bit differently. I think it's Duchin. Pardon me, I got riled up. Duchin was interrogating the transportation director, Richard Mendoza, about the bridge item, which again, there was no need for any discussion on it, and it just goes to show that it was so blatant that now Duchin is the only one whose bill still has, whose ear bill still has on council. It's I would say pathetic, but I don't feel bad for him at all. I mean, this is very good because you see how, I said I had some rants, and I'm sorry, I think it pissed off some old ladies. If y'all don't like the word biddy, kiss my ass. And I would just say, if the shoe fits, because I've never met an older bitch who cared about biddy or nothing like that if she was a down ass hoe. Because you ain't a biddy if you a down ass hoe, no matter what your age. So get that for come correct and get your shit together. And I'm getting older too, and it comes for everybody. And don't worry about me. Regardless, I've written about who is going to take the place of Leslie Poole as council's biddy, chief biddy, aka who was going to start when Bill is furiously texting a council member. Who was that going to be? Used to be Leslie reading his questions like a fucking clown that she had just gotten fucking texted. That bitch pisses me off too. Anyway, now it's Duchin, and he's so fucking dumb. He does not know how to do his job. And I have some other stuff to say about him, but I'm going to save it for the report card. And you're going to have to pay me or be friends with one of my paid subscribers and get it forwarded, because I'm tired of giving away the cow for free. I'm going to get my regular subscribers going to get a little milk. Anyway, I'm going to talk about this later. But point being, I have some more things to say about Duchin. You're going to have to read for that. Sorry. But I will say he had a very interesting exchange with Richard Mendoza on the bridge item at Thursday's meeting. Essentially, he was trying to get staff to get Mendoza to say, oh, you're right, we didn't really consult with the neighborhoods, God forbid, or we didn't consult with the right experts. We didn't do enough due diligence to really, because we didn't want to save the tree, or the bridge. Sorry, tree, bridge, whatever. See, like I said, it all runs together at a certain point. But basically, from my perspective, he was trying to get Mendoza to, he was asking leading questions to try to get Mendoza to admit that the department that staff had somehow not had run roughshod to give council the information that they needed to completely replace the bridge, when really, in Duchin's mind, I guess, they should have worked harder to preserve a 100-year-old bridge. Do you hear yourself, dummy? God. Anyway, it didn't fucking work. It was pathetic. At one point he was like, Duchin was like, so did y'all did staff consult any any consultants that are experts in in historic bridges? Because that's Bill's thing, is the bridge is historic. The bridge is historic. It's not historic. And the funny thing is like, I don't know if Duchin just wasn't listening or what, but like earlier on in Mendoza's like little monologue, he had said, It's not historic. It's a contributing structure to the historic designation of Zilker Park. It was not itself a historic structure. It's just, as I said in my rant, it's just fucking old. Some people don't want to fucking hear that. I don't know why. It's just, it's like, it's mania. Like, I'm really confused. Anyway. So Dugin asked this question again, I think seemingly wanting him to say, oh, no, we didn't. Sorry. But Mendoza said, like, no, because it's not historic. And the you know, pardon me, what was left unsaid there is, as I said before, because he had literally just said, the bridge is not historic itself. It is a contributing structure to the historic designation of Zilker motherfucking Park. Anyway, Ryan Alter did his little thing again. I would just say to Ryan, I think you're falling into the trap a little bit of over catering to these people. Like, if it's coming down, like, you should have done this shit for the fucking, instead of selling me out on the damn Zilker Park plan, you should have done it then. But instead, you know, you just fucking gave up. And, you know, but at this point, like, if he's not gaining traction on something, like, in this case, Bill was, like, really alone, he's not going to change anything. Unless he's really, like, again, if he really just has Duchin and one vote, I wouldn't waste a bunch of time on this shit. I mean, it's great for me because I get a bunch of material out of it, but I think your energy would be better put working instead of addressing bullshit. That's why I call this Trumpian. Again, not to keep referencing the rant, but like, you should really sign up for the fucking newsletter. Everyone. This is Trumpian. And part of it is to overwhelm you with misinformation and misstatements. So if you're going to introduce it, if you're going to address every single one of them every single time, and he's training you, don't fucking be naive that he's just pissing in the wind. He's pissing on y'all's feet. You know, it's playing into his hands of wasting time, and I just don't think it's a great strategy. So yeah. Anyway, I'd also like to talk about, you know, just in reference to this meeting, like, there wasn't a lot of meat to it, and there's not going to be a lot of meat to these city council meetings for the rest of Watson's term, unless the city council members decide that they're not going to play by his rules, which I view as in violation of the spirit of the charter, let's say. I don't know that I can say what I really think until I talk to some more lawyers. But I will say I feel how Watson is running this city is against the spirit of the charter, which is, this is supposed to be a 10-1 council, and he is supposed to be a member of that council. His job is to lead the meetings. And the fact that meeting, as he basically, I guess, sent a press release to Axios and it got printed last week. And, you know, it was basically just him jerking off, or, you know, his little attack dogs, which I'm not even going to name because you love when I name you, bitch. But yeah, his little attack dog sent them a press release and of bragging about the, you know, meetings are down to 6 hours. Well, yeah, you don't let any council members who are elected by the public to ask questions that aren't run through your office or the city manager. So I would say the era of democracy in Austin is over. Or I hope it's at least just on pause, but it is, democracy in Austin is suspended. And I would say to him, any progress that he has made is canceled out because he has not gone about it in a again in the spirit of democracy. Um, this is no longer a local democracy. It is very much a local dictatorship, and it's wrong. And I think it's sad. Um, that if we had any council members with backbone, it wouldn't be happening. So he may not be in violation of the charter, and that's only because the council members are not doing their jobs to challenge him. They're enabling him. Out of fear, yes, but that's not an excuse. And I say that to every single one of them from 1 to 10. It's shameful, and I just hope that I can fully illustrate it for the public so that you will all be held accountable. You know, so that you will all be held accountable for that. So, segment 3, speaking of being held accountable, yay, my favorite thing, midterm city council report card, coming out July 1st for my full list of email subscribers. July 2nd, my paid subscribers will get an extended edition. So, and I may put a call out in the first edition for questions, anything that y'all want me to. I can do some late reporting on it as well if there's anything that I haven't looked into or checked into, or anybody that I'm not, any part of the rubric that y'all want me to, like, you know, more fully discuss with regard to any council member. It's like, hey, you know, can you talk about so and so, and you know, you didn't mention their productivity, or you didn't mention their staff in particular. Can you go further into that? Or like, hey, you said so and so, you know, is not responsive to constituent. Like, why did you, like, what makes you say that? Can you give some examples? Like, there's, you know, there's opportunity for us to work together and get y'all, you know, I guess a little bit more tailored content. But I just want to again reward my paid subscribers who pay $5 every month, just with a little extra, you know. I was gonna say, if you really want me to spill that tea, you gotta give me that green. So let me give y'all a little bit of extra something to as a token of my appreciation for y'all literally putting food in my mouth a lot of times, and you know, keeping this shit. I mean, who else pays for this MailChimp and the software and all this shit? So y'all literally keep me going. We're about to hit 4 years in July. Speaking of, can't thank y'all enough. So, but yeah, the rest of the media is literally running on press releases. So if you want to hear how these people are actually doing, what insiders and outsiders think of these people, what people will not tell you, what nobody has the nuts to say except for me, then you got to get on board with this. And you can check out all my recent ones, or all my past ones are on, they're on my Instagram, they're on my rant list, or I'm sorry, my archive. And then I can also, this week I can also focus on putting some of the old ones up on Substack, so we can kind of just keep track of those. But yeah, who's passing? Who's failing? Who's getting that ass smacked? Let's just say some of these bitches are gonna be losing privileges. Okay, segment 4, and this is getting a little bit long. Ooh, I wonder if I can, shoot, I got Oh my goodness. Okay, well this might be long, but fuck it. I'm in for the long haul. So, segment 4. I wanted to take a little bit of time to discuss, to go deeper into why Rants by Neenz matters and what some of the conventions of modern journalism, or what do you call it, like mainstream journalism, what I'm challenging, and I guess briefly why. So, objectivity and neutrality. Journalists are supposed to be objective and neutral. I'm not. I never pretend to be. Respectability, politics, and professionalism. When you, especially if you come from a different culture, a marginalized community, whatever you did in the past, you're supposed to come to journalism as, unless you can tokenize yourself, you're supposed to completely strip yourself down from your roots and leave that at home, and really assimilate into the dominant white culture that presides over, or that dominates mainstream media. I don't do that. I don't believe in it. I think I'm not going to give y'all better news if I humor you and pretend like I don't say cuss words, pretend like I'm not a savage, pretend like I don't have sex, pretend like I don't do drugs ever, don't drink, always make the best decisions, always have the best opinions. It's not true. It's not true for anybody. But I'm less interested in hiding it. Reporters can't do commentary. People told me I was too young. I was too close to the reporting. You can't have, meld commentary, analysis, and reporting. I do. I think it is actually the best thing to do. The more I'm doing this, the less I believe in just people being columnists. I feel like, that could be dangerous, because then I'm going to stop reporting in 10 years, and then I'll be like, oh, fuck, I want to keep doing commentary. I just think it's tough if you're not, really in that mindset of investigating and talking to people and being on the ground and reading a lot. Like, I don't know how effective you can be. So this project has changed a lot of my opinions on that. Journalists aren't invested in the communities they cover. Again, unless you're like Anderson Cooper, like a rich person going to Katrina and putting on the waiters. Like, I don't know why. I feel like a lot of, particularly, like, the example I can think of is, like, I feel like a lot of reporters from the homeless community, and there's a lot of homeless or unhoused news outlets, and I feel like they aren't given the mantle always. They're treated. They're not given the same access, and I don't think that's right. I think people, and again, when you're embedded in those communities, you're probably not gonna look like Katie Couric or talk like Anderson Cooper. It's just a different, or Katie Tur, or any number of these. There's a lot of everybody. It basically, I mean, name one person in news that's a real that you really know their personality. The PR, what the New York Times has said about them in an interview setting. You don't really know in a profile. You don't really know who they are. I think that's wrong. News outlets can't be indie or crowdfunded. This is a reader-funded outlet, and I hope it can stay that way. I know I will eventually need advertising, and as we grow, we're going to need sponsorships and different things, but that's never going to be my priority. My priority is always going to be getting people who can to pay me $5 per month, and because that's just what's going to keep this going. And I firmly believe that we can find 50,000 people in Austin who can give me $5 per month, and then I have to quit my job. No, shit might get too good for me. I don't know, guys. Then to be a changed bitch, then I will be talking like Katie Tur. No, maybe Jorge Ramos, bitch. I love you. Look. Oh, speaking of, journalism, the last one, journalism has to be serious. I think that's lame. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. I want to be individual. I want to talk about different types of things. I want to be myself. I want to be honest, and I know that I do have to edit in some respects, and I'm learning that. I'm making mistakes along the way, and I'm sorry to everyone that I offend when I do make mistakes, and that is on me. So, but I always tell people, look, I'm a phone call away, business line, and I'm know most people in town, so you could probably call somebody and get my number in pretty quickly. And if you need to bitch me out, just text me. Hey, Nina, I need to bitch you out for what you said. It's been done. And I wish more people would have the nuts to do it, because how am I going to know if I was wrong if you don't say anything? You just hold a grudge forever. I mean, you can hold a grudge forever. That's fine. But I think it helps if we air it out. Don't be a Mike Siegel and just fucking sneak diss me. I don't respond well to that. Love you, Mike. And your beautiful wife. Let me stop before I get in trouble again. Look. Anyway, these systems are absurd, so I'm making fun of them. And that's just all there is motherfucking to it. But you can help me continue this work by becoming a paid subscriber, signing on as a founding homie. $250, but it'll be the best $250 you ever spent. Number one, you're helping me do this work. Number two, you get status among nerds. I cannot say that enough. I cannot stress that enough. That being a Rantz by Neenz founding homie is literally a status symbol among liberals and leftists. And some, in the middle. But I don't talk about them. So anyway, no right-wingers yet, I don't think. Not that I really know of, or if they did, they left quickly. Sorry, guys. Or not. Anyway, all right, that's enough boring stuff. Two more sections, and then I'm closing this. I'm going to figure out how to edit, and then I'm putting it on motherfucking YouTube. Oops, excuse my language. Sorry, YouTube. But anyway, Wreslemania 41. First of all, I want to say to my friend Chad Switecki, you're absolutely right. After watching Saturday and Sunday, I have to say, I think Saturday was a lot better, a lot more smoother, a lot more well thought out. Some highlights for me: Jey Uso defeating Gunther. He needed his ass whooped. And I love Jey Uso. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. That whole thing. I mean, that storyline of it was just like the lieutenant becomes the rival, and then she was whooping her ass. It was, and then the athleticism, that move, oh my, where she just, Jade Cargill is the best thing that has ever happened to professional wrestling. And other than Ricky Stark. Oh, I'm sorry, Ricky Saints. He's now called Ricky Saints, but I predict he's going to have a big year next year. Or whenever he comes from NXT to the big group. And it's only a matter of time, because that's my favorite wrestler from AEW. Shout out AEW. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't care. Anyway, Jacob Fatu, such an amazing performer. I really was just like, wow, he's so athletic at that size. Love it. He's really easy to like. Okay. El Grande Americano. What a fuck. I only say this as a highlight because when Gable gets his ass whooped for this, it's gonna be a highlight of my life when he gets his ass whooped for this sacrilege on national TV or whatever, Netflix, wherever it's gonna be. But anyway, Dominic Mysterio, other than Ricky Saints, my favorite wrestler, with Jade Cargill, Dominic Mysterio winning the Intercontinental Championship. Fantastic. I mean, the frog splash at the end, getting his homie covering his homie, getting out of there. The thing at the beginning where he couldn't get his mask off, and then later he was like, somebody asked him about it, and he was like, oh, well, it's because it didn't want to come off, and it was like, I was fighting with myself for, like, tradition, honor, family. Like, he's such a little piece of shit. I fucking love him. I adore him. And then, yeah, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. I just thought, first of all, I mean, I wanted CM Punk to win, but I can see why Seth Rollins, because here's the thing, then they can make it so that, I guess I'm sorry if you haven't seen it yet, but if you have, are you really a wrestling fan? If you haven't, are you really a wrestling fan? I'm probably the last person to see it. Anyway, you can kind of see why they did it, though, because now Paul Heyman's been with all of them. Like, he was with Punk, he's with Roman, now he's gonna be with Seth, so he's like betrayed all of this. So it's like a cool, and then now, and Seth had to get his lick back on Punk. Like, this storyline had to, I think, progress to where he got something. He had to beat him at some point because, like, really rip something away from him. So it's like, okay, here's your WrestleMania main event. Now I'm gonna beat your ass for it. I think, and in a betrayal. So I think, it was good storytelling. I really enjoyed it. I'm a Punk fan. But yeah, I had no problems with it. Do y'all mind if I take a blink? Oh my god. Let's see if I can blink. Thank you. Sorry about that. But yeah, lowlights for me, honestly, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. I couldn't tell who was who. They look the fucking same to me, and they're dressed the same. What the hell? Logan Paul beating AJ Styles. Boring. I don't. Even Joe Hendry versus Randy Orton. I mean, maybe I'm not a fan enough, but I'm like, bro, they're bringing him back so he could so Joe Hendry could be a jobber and just get his ass whooped in 2 seconds. So, to me, it was lame. I mean, everybody loves Joe Hendry. I like the song too. I get it, but at the same point, him being there wasn't enough for me to be like, yeah, this shitty little fucking match is fucking not gonna be over by the next commercial. So, not a lot of fun. And then, yeah, the main event. First of all, boring match between Cody and John Cena. Really disappointed that John Cena didn't, because, like, those promos that he did where he was turning heel, like, I think that they were objectively great acting. I am upset that he won the record. Okay, great. But it wasn't in anything really of a great match. And, yeah. And it just kind of fizzled out. Like, they could have done something with that. other than what they did. But I just think The Rock, I mean, first of all, The Rock, what the fuck, dude? Like, you cannot come back and make them write you apart and then not come back. That's so fucking, for Wrestlemania, like, that's so fucking dumb. The shit he was like, oh, I want your soul, Cody. And then it was really like, at the end, it was like, okay, is he going to beat John Cena, you know, unfairly, or is he going to, or is he going to continue to be a good guy? So I get it. You know, I honestly don't give a shit. I don't know, man. I think he should have Cody should have, like, fucking just elbowed John Cena in the face and then fucking, yeah, started whipping him with the fucking, belt. Like, there just was not, no. This shit was, no. And then Travis Scott coming back out. Stop trying to make Travis Scott happen, guys. I mean, I get it. He's getting kids into wrestling because that's who listens to his music. I don't know a single fucking adult that listens to Travis Scott's music, but I digress. Just the hubris of The Rock, the blatant plot holes, the underwhelming final match. I mean, they might as well have flipped it. It would have been better if they had flipped the Roman and CM and Seth had done that. Like, I think that was a more worthy ending than that POS. They should have fucking flipped the matches and had the John Cena one on Saturday night because it was so fucking lame and anticlimactic. Wow. Anyway, Austin City Council meetings might be equally as scripted as these shows, but at least the WWE doesn't lie to us about it. Okay. Last bit before we go. Actually, there's another bit. There's an outro, but I'm going to lie to you. One final thing before we go. I want to talk about spinners. Spoiler alert! Get the fuck out of here if you really don't want to know what happened. If you haven't seen it. If you have, holy shit. Now, that's a movie! That's a movie! Oh my god. What a fucking movie! Especially the horror genre, I just never thought a movie would make me feel this way again. First of all, can't wait to go see it again. It was so incredible. Speaking of spoilers, I did not know anything about it. So I went in completely fresh. First of all, I had to tell off the person next to me because she kept talking to her husband. I'm like, bitch, you're not, I didn't say bitch, but I'm like, you're not going to talk through this whole movie. I'm going to complain. Didn't hear another word out of her. As the movie starts, and it's like the fucking cartoon, or the comic or whatever, this bitch is talking, and then I hear something about, and then the people, some of them are demons. I don't know how this says it, but it's like some of them are demons, and then there's like a little monster, and its eyes are red. So I kind of missed the beginning, and I didn't know going into it what was happening. So I felt that there was something with demons, clearly. I didn't know it was a vampire movie. I didn't even know it was a horror movie. So I went into it just completely blind. Well, then you get started, and now in hindsight, I'm like, okay, it is a one of those, like, I don't even want to say cookie cutter because it was so phenomenal, but it was like the loose template of a standard horror film setup. Where there's the protagonist. In this case, it's Michael B. Jordan, the twins, playing the twins. But really, it's their younger cousin Sammy, who's they call Preacher Boy, who's the the son of his father is a minister, and was brother of the father of Michael B. Jordan's character's father. So they're kind of they're the protagonists. It's really the young kid Sammy, but it's also the two cousins. So they're meeting up with all these like different characters, and it's like setting up these different, elements of the story. And it's like, I saw somebody, I forget where, if it was on one of the reviews or what, but somebody was talking about like just how interesting the setup was, the premise. Like, I think most horror movies, they just consolidate that super quick. Like, they just, it's like college kids get into a van. Boom. Oh, here's Lisa, here's Jimmy, here's Alex, and they're, do we care about them? Not really, but they're cute and young, and they're, oh, I have finals next week or whatever. Like, they all have some, thing going on where that's supposed to, I guess, cement you to caring about the character. Well, this is that, except it's kind of long and drawn out, and it's fantastic of just all the character development, and every person they meet is like becomes part of this family, kind of, of it, at least in regard to this story. And yeah, I just loved it. I loved everything about it. I just think it was so well done. The oh my god, the dancing and the singing of not even just the blues, but like this like folk music that the vampires sing, and they're like doing like an Irish type of jig or some, I don't know, don't cancel me, I don't know, but like, I don't know, man. It was just an incredible film on so many levels. It didn't let me down at all. And I also was thinking too, it didn't have any of those. It tied up every fucking loose end for me. There wasn't anything looking back where I'm like, oh, did they? And I think filmmaking, writing has gotten so lazy these days that like, there'll just be these huge plot holes at the end of movies, especially horror films. And I think it's just like, it's kind of like the genre is just like, yep, that's the best we can do. Like, it's just accepted that, oh, don't think about it too hard, or, it's like, why are you going to tell a story if you're just going to let all of these things, all of these threads out in the wind? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, other than they're just making movies to make movies and make money, and it's not really about storytelling. This movie, Sinners, I mean, just the music, the acting, the storytelling, it's just I sound like a film nerd, but like the pacing, like, just every part of the movie was just so fucking good. I wasn't I mean, and even after the credits, kind of did like a Marvel thing where, there's a little bit more story after the credits. I don't know why even I stayed and waited. Some people got up and left. And if you did, you fucking miss out on like one of the most beautiful parts of the movie. I cried when and I'll confuse them, Smoke. I cried when Smoke died at the end, and he had the vision of his lover and their child. and he gets to hold the baby. And that, I think that was the first time I cried in the film. And I think the only time. And that was really, that was really tough. That was a really touching moment. And then at the end, after the credits, then you see Sammy as an old man, and Stack comes in with his lover, and then it's was like, I'm like processing, like, oh, like seeing them walk out, I'm like, oh fuck, they could be together, like they couldn't be back in whatever that was, 1920 or whatever, the 18 whatever. It's just incredible to me, the depths of the of the storytelling, and again, just how they didn't just leave anything to fuck it, just say, hey, it's a horror film, don't think too hard. Did you enjoy the gore? And even the gore was like, damn, like people I think it handled the deaths too, because you wonder, like, okay, well, people are going to start dying, and how do they treat that? And it's like, everyone hurt, but at the same time, I feel like the way everything unfolded, like, you were almost in survival mode yourself. You can't really, like, the hardest part, I guess, was when Smoke puts the stake through his, again, I'm forgetting her name, but his girlfriend's heart. That's a really tough one. But all the other ones, then you kind of quickly, you're like, okay, life and death almost doesn't have that gravity that some, I don't know. If you can explain what I'm feeling, comment and let me know. Tell me your thoughts on this movie. Clearly, I'm letting this get too away from me. I think we're coming up on an hour. Tell me, also in the comments, is this too long for a podcast? Do you like the video aspect? Should I go back to just a static image? Are you tired of looking at my face? I would love to hear your feedback. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of the Rantz by Neenz podcast, hosted by yours truly, Neenz, your least favorite Cajun, Tejana, lesbian, journalist, troll, and let's drop satirist in there. Don't forget, the midterm report card drops July 1st. My paid subscribers, for the first time ever, can look forward to an extended write-up on July 2nd, just because I love you foos. Please, subscribe, share, rate, leave me a review, tell your plug, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell your granny. Don't tell her, this will fucking stress her out. Tell everyone but your grandmother. Unless she can become a investor. I'm now calling all investors because I lost my job this week. Shit, even tell your city council member if you can find them in hiding where I have them. And we're going to be back with an episode 3. What are we going to be talking about? I honestly don't know. You tell me. What do you want me to talk about? All right, guys. Love you. Goodbye.